I'm Christa Hill.
And I'm Renée Matsella.
And we are the founders of Tacit Edge, a tech education company dedicated to shifting the demographics of women and visible minorities graduating into product management at top companies around the world.
And this is our podcast, Product for Humans, where we explore the human side of product management. We'll answer all your burning questions like, what is product management? What is a product? How do you get started? And why do you belong in product management? That's right, because you belong. We hope you enjoy the show. Hello.
Hello.
Krista.
Hey.
How are you?
We're so good having our hot girl AI summer.
Yes.
Just checking in.
Welcome everyone to Product for Humans. We haven't done a Product for Humans in a while, so we wanted to do it because we're having a hot girl AI summer and not enough people are having a hot girl AI summer with us.
Not the way we are. So you're just hearing some good news.
It is time. Last year was Brat summer.
Yeah.
This is AI summer. It is time to get into AI. So yeah, Chris and I, we wanted to just get on a podcast and tell people about what we're seeing out in the industry, what we're seeing with AI, and what we're not seeing, most importantly, within AI adoption, which is lagging behind. So Chris, what are you not seeing in AI adoption so we can help? Because this is it. Like this webinar, we wanted to people what we're seeing so people can know what's up and get on this train because it's time.
I think what I'm not seeing is that folks in many industries and are not seeing their business from the AI up the way that we're going to need to. So I'm going to give you this analogy that's going to hit a little bit hard, but every newcomer to your industry, everyone who's starting a company today is able to do it AI first. And you are doing everything AI last. And so what really inspired Renée and I to come on and talk today midsummer is that we just want to keep this top of mind for folks. What are you doing right now to show, we call this corporate courage in the room to evaluate your job, how your teams are operating, how your products are built, how your operations are going, and start shifting that lens towards if we went AI first instead of last, how might we change how we are operating? Because there's a lot happening while a lot of folks are vacationing and there's a lot of people taking a lot of time off. We got the stampede going on right now in Calgary. Like things are on fire right now. Everyone's having a great time. But what we're also seeing is some shifts, right, in the leadership playbook and how we're evaluating businesses while we're going through these motions, and things are happening really fast. So there is this cliff that is going to start to appear for businesses that will begin to start being devalued if they don't start operating with this AI first phenomenon. And I think what we can do is spend a little bit of time sort of painting a picture of some of the observations we're seeing with some of our accelerator clients and how AI is being positioned and being brought to teams so that you can see actually the patterns that we're observing, especially around agentic AI, that I think are really valuable. So that is what's up, Renée.
Yes. I'm glad we're talking about it. Yeah. So all jokes aside, like we're kind of scared and we hope that people can leave this knowing that there is a pathway to AI adoption. And the reason we're scared, like we're staying up at night because what was the stat that you found from
KPMG? We are fourth worst in the world for AI adoption and our baseline level of literacy. Okay, so this is top to bottom. This is everyone across the nation compared to everyone across every other nation across the world. So 47 countries. We are fourth worst in that list.
And when Canada.
You think about it, that's Canada. Yeah. So we don't have time to fuck around. Like this is getting to a point where I'm still having conversations with folks that would say, well, I'm just going to opt out because I don't believe in AI. It's not safe. And I think we're losing our stamina for that conversation because it's not about whether or not you think it's safe anymore. It's about how do you see yourself interacting with this technology? And I understand everybody has a choice, but then there's also what we need to be as parents for our kids and for ourselves in our careers. it is a real privilege to feel like you can opt out on the biggest technology advancement in our lifetime.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Like,
know that. If that is your stance, I want you to look around and say, what will that remove you from in the conversation? So I had a conversation, I've been chatting a lot with parents too about this topic and likening it to the time when we all saw social media taking off and we were learning at the same time as our kids. And then we all built that competency together. And then our kids took it a certain direction. We took it a certain direction. And now we have, years later, a lot of mental health consequences on all sides of the fence and it's showing up differently and more severe for our children. So we let that toothpaste out of the tube without understanding the consequences. This is our do-over of that with them, and I'm also observing people, adults in the workplace not thinking about how they're having conversations with this about, how do we adopt this technology and what is the best parts of it? What is it and what isn't it? And I know, Renee, you can dive into that in a second, but what it is something that can be a tutor and a support system for kids if they've got any sort of challenges in the classroom. How are we positioning and learning about this technology, taking the problems that we have in our lives and trying to figure out how might we leverage and play to AI's strengths to make our lives better. And so when we jump on this and we say we're having Hot Girl AI Summer, it's because we dove in and we pushed our limits of what we thought we were as technical individuals. And as you know us, we are not technically presenting. I've built an entire career and a brand around saying you do not need to be technical to work in technology. That is still true. But what is also true now is that there is bridge education that can help you become more technical in a room so that you're not slowing everybody down. And if you are the person in the room that is not taking that seriously and going out to get more technical right now, inadvertently, you've made a choice for everyone around you too that you are going to be their ankle weight and you don't even know it. Okay, so
yeah.
that is the unintended consequence of this choice. I'm choosing to opt out. That's a privilege, but also you're making decisions for people around you too as well, which isn't when we're still 43 out of 47 in the world. How's this going to work out for us? Final thought on this, and then Renee, I'm going to zip it for a bit and you take over, is when I talk about that concept of everyone else coming into your industry and starting out and they're running AI first and AI last. I want you to think about that for yourself too as well. And if you project that over a time frame, and we normally think about things in like 5-year leaps, as adults, 5 years from now, where do I want to be? And I challenge everybody to say 5 months from now, where do you want to be? And I think that is the new time frame that we really want people to adopt.
Yeah, because people aren't recognizing what used to happen in years is happening in months
It's like
now.
animal years now.
Yeah, think
I
of
want
it.
you to look at all your pets. And I think this is accelerating in pet years.
It
Okay.
actually is. That's
It
actually a
is.
really
Yeah.
good way because I think people really struggle to wrap our brains around how fast this is going.
Yeah.
And it is genuinely animal years. Like things are moving. And I know people here exponentially faster, but what that looks like is ChatGPT launched. It was making some really stupid suggestions and people were making fun of it. And then people didn't take it seriously and stopped using it for 6 months. All of a sudden, it really is Einstein in your pocket with access to all of the world's online information.
Yeah. And still not being perfect, but neither are we. And let's remember,
Yeah.
we literally have access to a brain trust in there that is a bunch of imperfect humans, as we would in the real world, anyways. But we can do it at scale and it's at our fingertips, it's in your pocket. And I think that is that thing that's like, what is it and what isn't it? It isn't perfect. It is designed to fail. That's how we as humans learn. That is how this technology is also learning. Okay, so stop having it be a perfectionist conversation because that is not where we are in the world and that's not where we are as human beings. We cannot paint an expectation on a technology based on our anxiety about our biggest flaws, which is that we're not perfect. Stop it.
Nothing is.
Nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
However, there are scenarios to which, again, if you are not growing and changing and evolving with this technology, like I said, that is the single biggest advancement in our career lifetime. It will really be a privileged situation for that to not impact you, your families, your teams, everyone around you. Yeah, that's really what we want folks to be thinking about.
Yeah. So, Krista, what are some of those red flags that you're seeing in company and individual behavior that makes you say, you got to watch out? Like, what are those things?
I would say it's more subtle stuff. Okay. So I'm a leader. And how I would have operated in the past would be I get a bunch of people in the room, we start ideating on an idea, and then I say, okay, everybody go out and find a solution that you think might be a great fit and bring it back. And I'm not in that conversation. I'm not also contributing, but I'm enabling others, right? That was kind of the leadership playbook in the past. Get out of the way, enable your teams. Don't be that helicopter mom in the room that's like micromanaging. That's out, right? It's shifted now. Now I need to also bring my expertise and experience to that conversation earlier than I would have. Okay. So if I think a lot of us sort of translated that behavior to I can get my teams to go out and get things. And if they come back and it's an AI solution, I might not know anything about the core of that technology, but I'm probably going to be the first person in the room to poo poo it out of fear.
Yeah.
But if I have that core education that I understand the fundamentals of AI, what it is, what it isn't, what it's used for, what it's not, the difference between AI and automation and how they all play together, and that we have to double down on our practice on understanding individual steps in a process and individual needs and problems that are happening in the order to which they occur, and understand what technology can help me with each one of those little problems and how they all might play together to create something that is either thinking and helping us with decision making or just progressing a workflow forward because it's static and it has a predetermined outcome. I now am a whole different leader in the room because when I hear somebody coming in and they're referencing terminology like N8N or Zapier, or they want to use OpenAI or, whatever it is, the technology, I can instantly know that the strengths of that particular technology is, again, very action-based, rules-based technology and moving things forward versus something that's going to have a brain and help me do some thinking and some processing, requires a little bit of memory to move something forward that is a decision-making activity. So that is, in my mind, these things and these conversations are very subtle in our behaviors and what leadership used to look like, getting out of the way to now being a person that is an enabler and helping with ideation and also contributing because you understand the core of the technology that just help your teams make better decisions. And when you're spotting that they are going down rabbit holes that are not necessarily helping in those particular problem sets, you can help redirect them when you have that understanding of the core of the technology. You can ask higher quality questions to get higher quality answers to help you reduce risk of failure more. So that's it. The game is being raised so that you can ask higher quality questions and they don't revolve around your fear and your anxiety about being replaced or not understanding the tech. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the mission, I think.
You're so right. Like, going out in the world and just you're right, like it's really subtle, these things, but when you understand the technology, these subtle things are so obvious in
Oh, they are. To once you see it and you know it, then you can instantly tell by someone's line of questioning whether or not they're in crypto bro territory where we're all talking a big game, and I talk about this a lot, or somebody who goes off about blockchain and you've lost the room.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
Versus asking a high quality question that actually gets to the root of understanding where it sits in the string of the strategy of solving this problem. So I think the future is going to be owned by people that know how to move, and I've talked about this in the past, between like the dance floor and the balcony with their teams. I'm on the dance floor, we're ideating, we're in the mix, and then I'm up on the balcony just keeping an eye on the bigger picture, and then I'm coming back down to the dance floor. It's a new era, but will happily eat my words that like I said, I built my career on saying you didn't have to be technical to be in a room, to work with technical people and to drive a product forward. I would say that learning the core of the technology now has me presenting in the room still as a non-technical person. However, when the technical teams really start to dive into the tech and they have a question, I know how to unblock them now. And I
Yeah.
can meet them where they're at because I understand the core of the tech. And I think that is going to be a superpower in this next era because AI and automation are going to be, and let's unpack the whole thing around, is it replacing humans and what does this actually look like? And to be to give you a few examples of what I'm seeing with our clients, we've got an accelerator through AI North, and we talk to industrial companies are all over North America. All of them are investing in helping us understand and be more efficient with AI so we can collect the right data, so we can actually have a more efficient operation where we have the exact same humans, but we're working smarter, not harder. This is the mission. And when you understand the core of agentic AI and understanding the next step in the journey. What data do we need to record in order to get to the next decision? And then how these all sit on a horizontal. Okay, so let's talk about how this plays out with the life cycle of our customer all the way through to execution. We need customer acquisition. We need data around who is our ideal customer profile. We have salespeople out there going and looking for those ICPs, we call them out in the world. Everything that that salesperson does, how successful they are, impacts everything along the way. Like, say, we're ordering a product and say we're an industrial company and we need to manufacture. So if they hit it big, but we're not ready on the manufacturing side, then we create a poor customer experience on delivery, follow up, etc. Or if we're building something and we have to do it quickly and maybe we ship it and it's defective, like understanding what number equals success on the sales side to have us running, producing the actual thing that we are building, sweet spot where we are producing high quality, just fast enough and our people aren't breaking. Okay, that's data. And AI and automation around your sales activities can help you collect that data and correlate it to defects and problems in your manufacturing. And it can help us understand capacity. And this, I think, is really the first leg of the journey for a lot of companies is understanding sales activities, what it equals to and capacity in your teams. If you work in software, this is how this would go. All the salespeople are out building and your feature list and all the future sales that have happened turned into a backlog and you're all in hell, right? Trying to keep up with all the sales activity. And it's the best problem to have in SaaS, right? But what if you understood what that sweet spot was so that we knew what our development capacity was so we're not breaking our teams? And then what if on the long tail of that, out through delivery, shipping, follow up, our finance, our accounts payable, we know exactly on the sales side again where the sweet spot is that our operation teams are doing their best work and having the least amount of issues. All of that is data. Okay, so we need AI around the humans collecting these data points so that we can then create the pathways to get these insights so that we can work smarter with better information, right? This is really what adopting AI early stages in a lot of companies is looking like right now. Once you have those insights, you can then plus or minus people on teams in advance, right? Knowing that your sales cycle, say it's 4 months long, you know you need more people within X amount of times if that deal has closed to help you with, say, your manufacturing process or your development process, whatever that looks like. And you can just fine tune your business like an engine, right? Everybody's getting the support they need, everything that they need. Okay. So this many companies are not looking at it in terms of replacing people. That's not where they are. They are leveraging it so that they can get better data so they can better support their people. So stop with this whole notion that right out of the gates, we're on this on ramp to everybody losing their jobs. That's not the real world. That's not what I'm seeing. That's not what I'm observing in all of our clients.
Yeah.
Okay. The intention with these businesses is to get higher quality information so that they can run their operations more effectively, so that 5 or 6 years from now, when some of these folks are going to sell their business because they've taken it through its life cycle, they want to move on, they want to retire, it's going to be worth something. Because if they don't do that work right now, it's not going to be worth anything. Okay.
Yeah.
And then nobody's going to have jobs anyways. Right. So, like,
Yeah, yeah,
fuck,
you're
what
right. Like,
problem do you want to solve? This is why we're saying, like, if you're in the boat where you're still like, I'm just going to opt out. Again, that's a choice. It's a choice, but the reality is the implementation and the intent that we are seeing from the majority of business owners right now is not, I can't wait to get rid of my people. It is, how do I leverage this so that I am not up at night worrying about our capacity anymore? I've got better insights. We are making decisions at speed, and we are maintaining and regaining the market advantage we used to have, because our nearest competitor, the one that is just dreaming about entering our field right now, will have AI first, and we've got it last. We need to make a move. That's what it's about.
yeah, you're so right, Krista. Because Canada, like, we aren't a hyper technical economy. Like, we are very based in real things. We're manufacturing, mining, oil and gas.
Yeah. And let's face it, we've been driving technology advancements in those fields. Like, where we come from, especially in our province, oil and gas has been an innovation driver for all time. If you look at the advancements in technology in oil fields operations, it is a treasure trove of stories around a problem, around understanding capacity, and then how to build capacity using innovation. Okay. They have autonomous vehicles out on job sites. There is a lot of activity. This already exists. So I guess I'm just a little perplexed as to why some of us feel like this is kind of a new concept.
Yeah.
And the new
Well,
part of it is that people can build it on their own with no money, with a laptop at home. I think that is the distinction we need to make. What is different about this moment in time is that this is tech that you and I can,
yeah,
for
we can build
ourselves, we
it.
can build it ourselves. Whereas before, it used to be a real big industry push. Like, it's other people doing this sort of activity. And now it is people with laptops in a meeting room in an afternoon with a $5 token budget in OpenAI,
Yeah. And you,
changing changing their businesses.
well,
That's
it's
what's different.
wild what you could do with $5 in OpenAI. And that's,
I
and
know.
that,
When I
and
watched you do a tour for somebody in OpenAI, and here's a thing you can build, and I'm just gonna load it up with $5. And I was like, "Oh, 5 bucks? Oh, cool."
yeah.
And you're like, "And it only went down 6 cents, so we're good. We're, right in MVP territory."
Yeah.
Amazing. But the
Yeah.
thing that you built would have, and I was in my mind thinking, "Shit, 3 years ago, I would have taken that to a dev team, and it would have been 6 months."
Yes. I know. So
6 months on a $1,000,000 a year dev team to build that thing that you built with 6 cents in
yeah.
OpenAI.
So what I built was
Yeah.
a bio generator for folks who
Yeah.
struggle, because we work with a lot of people who are, obviously upskilling, looking to get better careers. So I built a biography generator based on data that we have from previous bios that we've written for people, because people really struggle with this and they're trying to use AI and it's still not working. But we actually have the unique data and information and line of questioning that we use to get people to open up about what makes them proud about themselves, to
Mhm.
write them like incredible bios. And it took me 2 hours to build, loaded up a bunch of our data that we have already, didn't put any proprietary data in. Don't worry.
Yeah, for
That
all
is
the hundreds
scary.
of you that have come to us for
Yes.
resume help, don't worry.
Yes. Don't worry.
We
I
actually have
still
done a lot of work
did.
around understanding
Don't
data, and
worry.
yes.
Well, and that's the thing is,
Yeah,
like, I'm seeing people are afraid of the wrong things.
yeah,
So one of the biggest red flags, and once you start learning AI and just the basics, like, you need to know enough to start building some of your own. Like, just doing a self-taught thing, like, kind of looking around isn't quite enough, but you need to understand the data implications, the security implications, where your data is now proprietary, where it's not, because you can just ask AI to do something for you. And it's this unique time where you need to become technical to be strategic.
yes.
Like, And
Yeah.
and that's something really interesting we're seeing too is a lot of the technical folks are not the ones leading this anymore. It's the strategic people because it is a strategic threat to not understand AI. So it is going to be the business strategic people, the product people, the leaders, the CEOs that need to learn this technology because if you don't understand it, it's you can't make strategic decisions because you don't know how it works, you don't know how it's gonna impact your business. So, this is a call to action, and, and developers, it is an existential threat. We are already seeing junior roles being eliminated. We're seeing technical roles being impacted. Now, I know Krista said, "Okay, we're also not seeing that." Like, yeah, in more traditional industries, it's harder for AI to replace you, but it's not hard for an AI-enabled company to replace you, but that's still taking time. Whereas in tech, these layoffs, they are happening, so it's an existential threat for technical folks, and they're either leaning into it or they're not.
Yeah.
And I totally understand. Like, I get it. I felt the same way. It took me a while to be like, "Oh, okay, I'm finally okay, here we go. I'm gonna learn this thing."
Yeah, it's so funny because I remember we talk about this all the time about especially when ChatGPT really started taking off, and as product people, I would say to you, my first thought was, "Well, this is probably it. It's been fun. I've had a good run." I'm close to 50. I'm a Gen Xer. Like, I don't know if I can do this.
I know, how's any
And I always
major
talk to them like, "This is it.
technological
I'm like, if I was to do it all over again." I know you and I have always had our eyes on being hosts at weddings where we're MCs on a microphone, having a little
Yeah.
bit of back and forth at events, or, like, maybe I'd finally go to hair school and do the thing I've always wanted to do, which was
With
this
the
stuff.
other Yes.
But it was literally it's a decision, it's a fork in the road decision for everybody. You
Yeah.
either dive in now, do the thing to bring yourself up to speed, because also I see a lot of folks in that indecision where it's so noisy, I don't know where to start, and that is totally fair. On the outside looking in, we are getting news on multiple modalities of AI every day. And if you don't know what category that news pertains to, you don't know if you should be paying attention to it. So I think that's issue number one. You don't know where to start because you don't know enough to know how to bucket that information.
Yeah.
So even getting the core understanding of the AI technology that pertains to either your industry or your context, that is a really great place to start so that you can start to reduce that noise and you know what threads to chase. Outside looking in is nearly impossible. Also, a leader that's never built AI themselves, you can't understand how it would strategically be an impediment to the business going forward because you don't know how it applies and you don't know what competitive advantage someone else would have if they had said technology that you don't have today. And thank you for bringing that up, Renee. That's really important that that strategic imperative
Yeah.
needs that technical lens. And I would love to say that in the past I would have said, well, that's what we have our technical folks in the room for. But actually, when I'm dreaming up the strategy, if I don't have that for myself, I can't have a thoughtful conversation with my technical person to go deeper. And I think it's almost like a 10x on that conversation if I have enough to understand the terminology that they're using so that I can go deeper with my strategic thinking, give them one of those nuggets. They can serve something back to me with the technology, and we go back and forth like a ping pong match. And it goes way farther than me just throwing it over the fence. And hopefully they can materialize the thing that I want and send it back to me. And I don't understand it, but I'm going to present it.
Yeah.
It's a difference, right? And so to those entry level jobs in tech, this is a shift we're seeing where we're seeing the collision of product management, UX, and early stage development converge into one creator competency. So I would say observations on this front is our early students that have coming through the product management programs that we have that are very early stage in your career. Obviously, we're teaching AI tools in those to help you understand where talking to real humans still really matters, where using these AI tools, how to use them, get insights, and help you get to the next right step in talking to a human to getting to the next series of problems of things you're going to chase. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and make a little bit of a prediction that we're gonna see a lot of those 3 converge together, and the new full stack product person in a startup has all 3 of those together, and they're not individual competencies anymore. So this isn't the end of the road if you have one of those 3. I think the call to action is if you have one of those 3, start to look at the other ones and start to say to yourself, "How might I become a more full stack version of the myself that I am right now?" Because in an environment that's going to go AI first, that is it. We're going to be imploring multimodalities in AI, and we're going to need to be multimodality as individuals too. So we know which part to apply in which situation that we're in. Because we can fail at a discount using AI and building our MVPs, using great new applications like Lovable and Gamma, right? For our presentations, doing our pitches, etc. Like there are so much out there that helps us save time on testing and iterating out in the market. That should free us up also to explore options for ourselves and how might we add at least some of those other 2 lanes to our one that we're in right now. That would be my hot take, Renee. You might have a different opinion.
No, I completely agree. That's what we're seeing. Like a product manager can get a prototype in 2 minutes with
Yeah.
Lovable. But do we know all the best design principles?
No.
No. We can get an
But it looks good
MVP. It
though.
looks really good.
It looks like we do, but
Yeah.
actually there are core principles around design that we are getting, I think, somewhat for free, and it's almost a little misleading when we go into Lovable and it looks so amazing. It looks like a designer did it. But there is always a science behind that formula. And again, it's one of those things, go looking for information about that formula so that when you do get that prototype, you know if it's good,
Yes, exactly.
right?
And same with an MVP. Like we
Yeah.
can launch on Lovable, we can put a URL, we can do this, but how do we actually put it into production? How do we integrate with our products? That's
Yeah.
where we still need development expertise.
Yeah.
And then everyone who's a developer, they also need to have a little bit of that product strategy. And like we all need a little bit of each other's strength
Yeah.
to at least inform us in that market testing phase and in that ideation phase and that finding product market fit phase. That can be one person who does that now relatively well if we have a little bit of knowledge of all 3. But then when we go to really implement, we do need all of those skills. We need
Yeah, and on
all.
the technical side, it's such a huge weak spot right now around deployment, just as an observation. A lot of folks can go a great distance with a clickable prototype, but they can't get it to production, okay? So if you're entry level in development and you're looking for the next big opportunity in this community, it's gonna be around supporting businesses to understand how do we take all that prototyping and all those wins we can get from leveraging AI and making it real in the real world. So I think there's that when you're thinking about your value in your role and where you might fit in this next era, that is definitely it. And when you think about how you need to design AI, it takes, remember, AI is a product. And every product needs a manager. And as a developer, you're still managing that product. You need to understand the business value and the wins associated with if you're building either agentic AI, like any sort of automated workflows, you're in Power Automate, you're in Copilot, whatever it is that you are doing. Understanding the overarching business goal that is required and the thing that we will have that we didn't have before after you do all that work is going to be, I think, a heavier weighted skill than just delivering the solution. So I'm going to give you an example. We have a lot of students that are developers that come through our programs, right? And a lot of times when we are working with developers and they are learning the product management acumen, they're really quick to get to solutioning without understanding the problem what we're solving. So they come up with a solution and it's searching for a problem to solve. So if you're a mid-career developer that is loving building things because you can, not because you should or we need to, but because you can. I would say that if I could give a little bit of a hot tip to start to learn some of the working with the problem first before we get to the solutioning, start really flexing that muscle and start looking for some education that can help you with that muscle. Because when we move into a strategic context with AI, having another person in the room that is focused on the problem that we're solving, not just the solution that we could build, because building the solution is going to start to get easier. So now you've got some cognitive load off your mind. How about we put it to work in learning some more of the problem identification, which is more the product management acumen. So I think same from with our user experience folks, right? Understanding more of that problem identification and coming into the conversation sooner than we normally would pull you in. I think this is about like a systematic shift. Like as product people, we would have things flushed out. We would have done all of our research and then we get the UX person and we get the dev team
Well,
and we're coming in
and
the
that's bad
conversation.
practice even before
It
AI.
is, but it's just the
Yeah.
reality of
Yeah.
how a lot of us operated in our careers, right? But what if you think about, like, if I came into this conversation sooner, who would I be in the room, right? I think that's kind of the where we are in the conversation between these roles right now.
That is true. And one of the things that AI is slow to replace is the ability to talk to very specifically our users.
Yes.
So the better we are at talking to our individual users, because AI can come up with general problems for the general population. Like it is a giant statistical machine that's able to say, this is the most common problem, but it's looking for the most common denominator.
Mm.
Whereas what's really going to set people apart now is looking, well, in my context, in my world, what's the most important thing and what are the people experiencing? What are the problems? So if we're able to get really specific and really niche down within that, that's where a lot of the skill is now. So I think everyone needs to get in on that. That's going to be the last thing that goes.
Yeah. All right. We've covered a lot of ground here. Holy. But if we recap from the leadership lens, leaders, the call to action here is it's time to get a little bit more technical so that you don't lose your strategic edge in the business. You need to understand the technology and how it's going to impact your strategy so that you can see it across your industry. And if you don't, it's a threat. It's a threat to you and where you are right now. Folks that are early stage careers start thinking about the full stack of skills, okay? The product management acumen, helping with the problem identification and the risk reduction, the user experience education, knowing what great design is, and that technology lens. How might we build the thing and make it real? Okay, these are still really important, but there's going to be a little bit more overlap as we move through this next phase. So those who have, I think that new version of the full stack will really be in demand for as we move through this next phase. And then we start to observe the new problems that we've created in industry when we solve some of these other ones. Because remember, this is how we progress in innovation. We solve some problems that we've got. And then when we get there, we look around and we see the new ones, the new set that we've created because the other ones are gone. So I think that is leading with confidence and being able to manage ambiguity right now, and just your own anxiety through this is going to be another one of those top, never, like, totally underrated skills.
Well,
Just
it's the
managing
skill.
ambiguity,
Yeah, it's the skill right now
Yeah.
because we don't have all the answers. We think we have the answers and it
Yeah.
changes. Being able to just be open-minded, roll with whatever changes are coming through and say, okay, well, I'm still going to just learn this one AI tool and I'm going to get really good at it and know that
Mhm.
it's probably going to change. And what I learn now, I can throw out, but the foundations of what I'm learning will help me. People that
Yeah.
are able to recognize that and continue doing that throughout this entire change, they're the ones that are going to
And in
succeed.
quicker iterations, right? Not I'm going to upgrade my education every 1 to 3 years. It's every 5 months, every 6 months. Take a look at your skill set, look around the market, go talk to somebody. See what you can be adding because, like I said, think of your career now in dog years, not human years. And
Yeah.
that feedback loop is definitely getting shorter.
Yeah. So if folks don't know where to start, because that's the hardest part is knowing where to start. Just DM us, connect with
Yeah,
us on
come find us on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
happy to chat. And
Yeah.
also we've got free AI sessions happening in Calgary, a platform this summer. Renee and I are gonna resume our AI hot girl summer.
Yeah. Join us.
And
Join
join
us
us on that.
by booking a call,
Yes.
coming to one of our free workshops.
Yeah.
This is the thing that we're really on right now. Like, this is the most important thing for all businesses and all individuals to learn and understand instead of letting it happen to us like it did with social media. This is an innovation as big as the internet. I don't see anyone opting out of the internet right now. So stop opting out. It's not as easy to adopt as the internet, but it's also not as
It's
hard as
not
letting it go.
impossible.
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy. You just have to put some effort in. So come talk to us and we can help you decide where to go next for you, because that's it too. The people who understand their value and carve their own path in this are also going to be the ones that really succeed. So come talk to us. We're here. We're here. Join us on Hot Girl Summer or Hot Boy or Hot.
There you go.
Hot Girl Summer in this context is
Yes.
not gender specific. Anyone.
Yeah.
So thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you in the next one.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, rate and review this podcast, and you might find your review in a future episode. Please subscribe to Product for Humans wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. To get more information about Product for Humans and our content, please visit our website at tacit-edge.com, tacit-edge.com. We'll see you next time. Okay, should we do it one more time?
Sweet.
Yeah, let's do it.